I never played. What was that game? Sorry, Mass Effect. There you go. I never played Mass Effect. It wasn't my universe to get into. But regardless of that, those are also more bigger world sandbox experiences, which really stretch out a lot of things there. You're able to go to different planets. You're able to do various quests and things on it. I mean, those are really good sandbox experiences as well. When you get things to more open world, though, like if you even look at the Old Republic, you're basically going from point A to point B. These are just with a lot of MMOs and everything like that, but things are so limited because you're not able to go in every place. And a lot of the places that you find are commonly going to be like outside things, basically. Like you might find some things inside, but like if you play like World of Warcraft, for example, all the vendors are all lined up and whatnot. Elder Scrolls Online's the same thing.
Or Skyrim.
Or even Skyrim. Like Skyrim, there you go. That's a great example of an open world experience. That's probably the epiphany of an open world sandbox experience. That is just like Skyrim is it's not my favorite. Daggerfall's still my favorite out of the five, yeah. But that's because of plot and everything. But Skyrim, gameplay-wise, is hands down the best. That is the perfect sandbox experience there. And if they could put co-op in it, it would make it better. And
there is a mod for that online. For both Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4.
So there you go. And we were off on another tangent, but that's fine.
Sorry.
We're having, no, I said don't apologize. I'm having fun with it. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. We're having a good time. That's what I'm happy about. So we'll read about 3 more here. Ramon says multiple options growing is the best form of representation, especially if it's combined with the option for gender ambiguous items and skins. Well, I mean, to each their own, but yeah, I don't get this tweet. Shouldn't she want games to let people play as either gender? So this year would be the best year, unless she only wants players to be able to play as women, but she didn't explicitly state that in her tweet. But, it's Anita Sarkeesian, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
If she really and then Jamie Martin replies, if she was really about feminism, yes, she would. Unfortunately, what she's actually looking for is female superiority, even though the vast majority of gaming audience itself is male. Exactly. That's the ultimate problem there. That's just the ultimate issue there, basically. A lot of these are basically tackling on things. There's a couple of posts of you want to be a professional clown, it's a clown world, things like that, which is great because that's what it is. That people are telling her to log off. They got Pepe the Frog doing the honk and everything.
Yes.
Visual depiction of this tweet that shows the troll face drooling with his head caved in. That's a really, really good one. Bye, fellow traveler. Yeah, and this is the best one. North Cinematics. Remember when games were just games? I'm gonna have to retweet that. Yeah.
Hey, you know how we know Anita's full of shit? Because Phantasy Star lets you play as a gay robot.
I remember. I think back. Let's see here. Barkstaff replies. I think back in the times when games were developed without taking some weird feminist standards into consideration, they were actually more memorable female characters. Bingo, yep. Bingo. So it's just perfect there. So it's. This whole rant, her whole delete tweet and everything. 5% plus 65% equals 5% outrage. That's a good one too, because the dual inclusiveness means you could be a female and everything. But yeah, shouldn't games just be multiple choice? Most games don't make sense with having to be a set sex and everything. Well, it doesn't. The reality of like I was saying before, is that it doesn't matter what gender role you put into it. A dude can face the same adversity that a girl can, and vice versa. When we're all limited by our physical capacities are what limit us, unless you have you're putting in cybernetics. You know what I mean, basically. So, but in general, we all have the same struggles. Basically, there's really, outside of just physical makeup and maybe emotional capacity and things like that, we really have the same struggles in a fantasy world. Men and women have equal struggles, basically. But of course, in the reality and everything, they want to put just these outrageous struggles that don't even exist anymore on, just throw it back. And what's the bottom line for it? Like I was saying before, revenge. That's what it hands down is.
I mean, in a video game, don't you have bigger things to worry about, like beating the Dark Lord, saving the world, bringing the light back.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Getting the fucking job done. That's exactly what I mean. Well, and off of that there, we're halfway through our little escapade with this here, reading comments and whatnot. So, Zombie Unicorn, of course, was that one bitch, the one that basically, what was her real name? Oh yeah, Navi Casanova and everything. She was, or Natty Casanova, so she was basically this chick that that was trying to start bully hunters last year. Yeah, that lasted. Oh, yeah, we know how that ended up. I mean, I found it really, just to say something about it, I mean, there's plenty of videos out there, but I found it kind of strange how they felt like they were going to be able to just perfectly find servers and things like that and just be able to log in instantly without having to wait or spectate or anything like that. They could just jump right in and then take down, just take down whoever was bullying somebody, and then just flat out say, "Oh, shame on you! You've just been bully hunted," and everything else like this. You see what I'm saying? It's just these female revenge fantasies these days are so fucking ridiculous. So all it really was a marketing ploy. There's plenty of videos out there to see that, but that's just it in a nutshell. Just the ridiculousness of it there. But Zombie Unicorn is really full of herself. I mean, she's lost her looks from what the ones that she barely had to begin with. She gained weight and everything, and she still thinks she's hot shit. Recently, she was talking shit about gamer babes, like booth babes and whatnot over at E3 and everything like that, and she was trying to fall back under the hidden guise that, she was trying to throw all this sexist shit about it and everything, where it's just what it boils down to. It's like, men lust over them like objects and blah, 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 and it's like, well, let me tell you something, honey. Men and women are objects of lust to multiple people. I'm sorry. I mean, we all have lusted over guys or girls depending on our preference and everything like that. We are objects of attraction if we look well enough. I personally don't belong in that field, but I won't lose sleep or food over it. But it's just really, really sad to see somebody just try to fall back on this whole I love being so right, or I'm just trying to say that it's just terrible that these women have to go through all these catcalls and blah, blah, blah. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like, yeah, but, the reality of it is the way that you're pushing at people and then saying things like, keep going, incels, you haven't hit the race yet, and I need to keep proving my point even further. I mean, it's not like PAX GDC and the majority of people I don't agree. That's why they banned both our booth babes already. LMAO, this is great. I love it. It's sad when you're so jealous of women that are basically doing better than you and getting by on their looks and everything to earn their money. It's so sad that you're just trying to clutch straws on that. That's what it hands down is. It's revenge.
And what kills me about that is those girls were wearing more clothes than she usually does and dancing better.
Exactly. Thank you. And it's like, I'm body painting because it's an art style. No, you're just trying to show your tits. That's hands down what it is there, But I love the irony of it, basically. You're calling your biggest fans who are incels, basically, you're calling people incels when your biggest fans are incels. Incels are people that are thirsty for pussy. And anybody who comes to defend this chick is practically white knighting it, or just some, baseless cuck and whatnot. So basically, it's so funny how, it's like a lot of us, it's like there's a lot of gamers out there that are fucking MGTOW, for example, men going their own way, and they don't want to have anything to do with women. Then there's other people that are starved for it and everything, but they shell out the money for ugly hoes like this. Yeah.
It's just sad.
It's like, it's a slang term and everything. Yeah, but you still. So I'll use this as an example. A lot of an incel, what they don't understand basically is they're using the incel unironically rather than ironically. But then you see, like, there's a term called roasty where they're basically making fun of women whose vagina has been used up so much that basically it looks like folded over roast beef, and then eventually they pretty much go and settle down. But there's people on, like, Urban Dictionary, for example, that will go on there and basically state, like, these incels, and they use that term too, that don't understand how the female anatomy works and everything. It's a slang term. But the problem with the incel term is that they're calling people who actually, like, a majority of these people want nothing to do with these thoughts. But they're calling the people incels regardless, when the fan base of the people who follow them are the incels because they pay these thoughts. That's where we're coming from with that. Roasty is a slang term just because of the shape of the vagina and everything, but also the fact of being used up and everything. And your vagina does kind of gradually fold over when you get wasted and baggy. Yeah. But yeah, let's not go into that. So let's start reading some comments here. I had to reply, no one here is mad. We're just laughing at how jealous you are that hotter girls are getting attention. And then David Houdat is like, just enjoying all the pissed off comments from men on this thread. And I just had to laugh because it's like Spotted the White Knight, and this Brianna Reed's like, I love Natty. And then Navit's like, hope she sees this, bro. That's a classic comeback there. I'm loving that one. And then Chad Jordan goes, well, you're definitely no man. And Stan Knight's like, you said it, Beta Logic. Maybe if I kiss her ass and trash my manhood, she'll tell me I'm a good boy and let me touch her. Oh man, she liked my post. That's right. 10,000 more of them and I may get some. Messed up, LOL. Yep. And then Chad Jordan replies, yep, that's how weak men think. Funny thing is, these thoughts will ride the guys who show disrespect to them first, and before those beta males desperately are looking for female approval. Yeah, I mean, a lot of girls love bad boys. They really, really love bad boys. Lacey Green got slightly red-pilled, for example, and started getting conservative cock, and then suddenly opened up and started realizing, wait a minute, there's more than just my insane rants and everything like that. Yeah. So there's an example there. 200% well said. See, bros being bros. Then of course here's the infamous Robin Hood for Disney version. I love this picture when he pretends to be that blind guy, basically to go to that one bunny's birthday and everything. May I please get a crumb of pussy? And it shows him wearing the shades and the cup, holding the cup and everything, and in the rags. That's just gold, and that's pretty much what it is. And then Mumbler LOS is like, she's not gonna suck your dick, dude. And who would fucking want her to do that? Basically, who the fuck would want her to do that? Honestly, now his reply is like, yeah, because I don't even know her asshat. So maybe he was trolling, but still, there's people out there that will go tooth and nail to pretty much, defend for a crumb of pussy. So it's nothing out of the realm of possibility there. So, Josh of Chaos says, everything is a pendulum, and this age of virtue signaling and being woke will swing back as people realize that women can be sexy and have full agency when it comes to showing off their bodies. There's nothing wrong with employing booth babes or showing off skin if voluntarily. True. Look at her bragging about, and then Phil's Duck replies, look at her bragging about putting other women out of work because she doesn't like it. It wasn't because the booth babes ladies complaining. Insecure, jealous thoughts hurting others so they could feel good for a moment. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what the hands down is. The problem is people don't understand. This is Nick. The problem is people don't understand you're condemning the companies, not the women working for the booth. Now, there's this Zodicus guy. Now, this guy isn't being... I don't think this guy is being a troll in saying this. I think this is one that I actually did read ahead of time. And it's like, right, but those women choose to be here. It's their earnings and opportunities that are being taken away, isn't it? Why should they not be able to be a booth babe if they so choose? Oh, dude, stop. You're doing more harm than good here. No one is talking about taking away jobs and women accepting jobs. It's about the company choosing to make the jobs represent women as sexual objects. But yet, at the same time, she puts herself on streams showing off her fucking tits. Yeah. And trying to pass it off as art.
I remember when the Captain Marvel movie was coming out, how they had to hire a butt double for Brie Larson. Isn't that the same level of bullshit but higher?
Women and men view each other as sex objects sometimes. That's just the way it is. If you're attractive enough, you're going to be seen as a sexual object or a piece of meat. And there's really nothing wrong with that. If you act upon disgusting urges, though, without consent or things like that. And I know I'm starting to sound like an SJW, but it's true, though. If you're going to act upon these disgusting thoughts and fantasies that you have and go full-blown psychopath or anything of that nature just to get that pussy, that's when you have a problem. But there's nothing wrong with looking at men or women as meat. I mean, we're human, for Christ's sake.
You know, I remember for the Robin Hood movie, they purposely airbrushed Keira Knightley's breasts as being about 4 centimeters larger than they actually were.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because she has a flat chest. I remember that. I do remember that. So many people to block this morning. Oh, that was a nice stab at her. I never understood the appeal of booth babes personally. Then again, I'm not a thirsty virgin. Well, you don't have to be a virgin. I mean, I'm not a virgin, and I like hot women, and I like looking at hot women and booth babes and stuff like that. I mean, let me tell you something. Sex sells. It's, whether you like it or not, sex fucking sells. Let's see here. Fine line with what's right, of course, and being unemployed. I hope those models artists were still paid. Hashtag dilemma. Okay. Let's see. Roland says, how do you feel about pit babes like in Formula One racing? True. True.
Or call girls in boxing.
Yep. Sex sells. Bear Knight says, the moral of the story is you don't need to be in a booth to be a babe. I like that. I like that. Let's see here. Let's see. The majority of the comments on the other thread were only disagreeing with your assertion that the dancers are automatically being portrayed as sexual objects. That doesn't make the entire internet incels, including the hundreds of women who believe, like you, that they should be allowed to take any job they want, and that objectifying women is about how they are treated and portrayed and not having power to change it, not just because they wore small clothes. I mean, the reality of it is that women have the power to change things, but the unfortunate catastrophe of it is that a majority of them these days are going the wrong direction with it. Rather than basically making donations to put things in place and right for it to benefit all of humanity, they're basically taking upon themselves to shame others for their choices and their views on life and whatnot. That's the difference between somebody that fights for social justice and somebody who basically is just a flat-out warrior of social justice.
You know what I just remembered? It's ironic that we've been talking about E3 and Zombie Unicorn, because at the E3 stage presentations, I forget which company had it, but they had professional cosplayers for Apex Legends, and the guy dressed up as Mirage was literally feeling himself up while looking at the camera seductively. Why wasn't that brought up?
Because it's basically going against a gay model, you homophobe. That's why. That's why.
Damn,
shame on you.
I forgot that.
It's okay
white male privilege.
It's okay to view gay men as meat because they're gay. Shame on you.
I'd like to see sexy male cosplayers doing the booth babe thing. Let's get some cute dark elf boys from WoW. You know what I'm saying? Like, get us some good D&D on that stage.
You're literally taking jobs away from women. LOL, hose mad. There's a lot